Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're listening to this. You're welcome to day 8 of the holiday bootcamp for parents of toddlers with Chioma Okoli. I am super excited to have you here, especially those who have been following from day 1 till today. And if today is your first day of listening in, do well to watch from day 1 and get yourself acquainted on the things we have done, the activities, and all of the things you need to put in place so that you can flow from today and the rest of the days to come. We still have like day 9 to day 15 to come to the end of it. So thank you so much for listening in, and let's get to it. So today we'll be talking about a very important part for us parents of toddlers. It's what I will call the operation structure, your home operation or operational structure. Now, why are we talking about the home operational structure with kids? With toddlers. We are talking about the home operational structure because the toddler you have today will not remain a toddler in few years to come. Okay, and then if we leave things to chance now, chances are that we'll continue to leave things to chances, even when doing so will be at our expense, or will not be in the best interest of both you, the parents, and your child. So we are starting early to do the things that should be done, because we don't want to get into the years ahead and we discover that we've been doing nothing all the while. All right. So one of my favorite women would say that he who knows his or her why is better than he who knows his or her what. Knowing how to do a thing and why you're doing a thing are two different things. So having a home operational structure helps you to be coordinated at all points, helps you to have an idea of what should be done, even if you don't know completely what to do or how to go. At least you know what the basic things that should be in place, why you seek knowledge or you seek counsel to go further in it. All right. So number one thing you need to get established is to get your children involved in whatever you're doing. Toddlers are full of energy. In fact, their energy may be when you're tired because of the day's work, all right? Or maybe you're tired because you didn't rest well in the night for whatever reason, and they come to you in the morning. You don't expect them to be at that low energy level that you were, for good reasons. So toddlers are full of energy, and if you leave them to themselves without structuring their time, they can do anything with it, and anything could get to harming themselves, could get to destroying things in the house, could get to things that you really don't want to happen. So get them involved. Are you cooking? That is something they can do for you. Whether you're preparing their own meal or you're preparing meal for the family, that is something they can do. I'll give you an instance. This morning, my son had tea and bread. Okay, so um he came into my room when he woke up, and after we greeted and had our morning hugs and all of that, and asked, "Did you sleep well?" and all of that, he said he wanted to take tea and bread. Fortunately, he had gone to buy bread with his dad last night, so he knew there was bread in the house. I said, "Okay, go and brush your teeth." He brushed his teeth. Now, I'm saying he brushed his teeth. Don't think he just went to the bedroom and brushed his teeth. You don't want to know what happened. Okay. But he finished brushing his teeth by himself. He actually wanted somebody to brush him, but I insisted he does that while I supervise. Okay. So we got to the kitchen, and I asked him, "So what do we do?" He said, "We need to get water we need to put the kettle on fire." I said, "But before we put the kettle on fire, He didn't say it. I said, we need to put water in this. He said, yes, we need to put water in the kettle. So we put water in the kettle and kept it on the gas. I asked him to turn it on. He turned it on. Then I asked, what's the next thing? He said, get the cups. He opened the fridge and brought out the cups from there, dropped it on top of the freezer. And then I asked, what's the next thing? So step by step, he was able to tell me the things we needed for the tea, and we assembled all of them. Before we left the room to the kitchen, he was telling me he wants to make his tea by himself. And I said, okay, no problem. The first time he made the request, I said, okay, no problem. He dared to see how happy he was. In fact, he had to hug me and say, I love you. Now, was there a possibility that he would spill the milk or the Bonvita, or the Milo in the process? Yes, especially in this wonderful time when things are really cheap, in quotes. There was those possibilities, but I was willing to guide him to reduce the quantity that I would pour, if any. So it happened that we were able to do it without any spills, okay? When it got to the point of pouring water, I really had wanted him to hold the kettle while I hold his hand and then pour. But just about that period, the sister woke up and was walking into the kitchen and with a pampers that she wanted to trash. Then he went to help her open the waste bin in the kitchen so that she would throw it in, and at least I did the hot water part. Now, I'm giving you this story so that you understand that no matter the age of your children, there is something they can do, and involve them. When I was asking my son the questions, so what do we do? Want to make the tea, so what do we have to do now? I'm allowing him to think, to engage his brain in thinking. That's just what I was trying to do. And also see how much he has observed all the while someone else has been making the tea for him. Nothing stops me from asking him to sit on the dining area while I fix the breakfast and serve him. But remember, like I said, I want an independent child. So I'm not trying to raise a child that would depend on me or anyone to fix his meals tomorrow. Okay? So, at whatever age, at whatever stage in your children's life, when you're doing something in the house and they're around, what can they do? If it's cooking, what can they help you in the kitchen with? Sometimes we want to cook something that involves vegetables, and I put it in the tray and allow them to try to pluck it out. They don't do it perfectly well. For my daughter will just pick it with the stalk, put it inside the other place that you're supposed to put the one that has been, peeled off the stalk. But it's fine. And then the brother would not be saying, no, that's not how to do it, stop it. And me, I'll just be doing the one I'm doing. But everybody is engaged now, and we are all seeing how it is going. If you're doing cleanup, why they may not be able to mop or sweep well, but at least allow them to sweep a certain portion, probably the area with less dirt, while you're doing the other parts. Okay? Now, if it's a child I'm talking about children from a year and 6 months and above. A year and 6 months and above can try their hands on this. Now, it's not cast on stone. The most important thing is observe your child and know what they can do per time and follow them. If you've not been priming them, or if you've not been giving them opportunities to try their hands at things, well, you may not expect your 4-year-old to be able to wash plates like my 4-year-old. My son will be 4 years in August, but we started practicing plate washing in December last year. So he has had like 8 months of practice, and he's really good in it. If my son washes a pot here, there are a few times when he may have to hold his hand and sponge and rewash it. But other times, if it's pots that are not heavily soiled, he can wash them nicely. Like really nice line. You won't know he's the one that washed it. Sometimes there are plays in between, yes, but he gets to get the work done. So that's because I started 8 months ago to prime him. So if your child is 4 years or getting to 4 years and yours cannot wash spoon, it's not for you to be angry and start throwing tantrum. It simply means you didn't start early, and it's not late. You can start now. Alright? My daughter is less than 2, but she stands side by side with the brother to rinse plates. Yes. Sometimes she picks the plate that has not been washed and puts in the bowl that she's supposed to, with clean water that she's supposed to rinse. We'll collect it from her, put it back, change the water, all of those. But she's done it like 3 times now, and I'm noticing the difference in her competence the third time and the first time she did it. In fact, the first time I allowed her and the brother to wash plates, the brother will wash and then she will rinse. It was a mess, okay? But I'm engaging them. They are moving their hands. The motor skills are developing. They are seeing. If you ask my son to go and wash plates now, he knows that the first thing is to get a bowl. You don't need to mention it. He has learned that one. That is organization. That is planning. That is preparing. He's developing it. They are all part of the executive functioning skills that every individual needs to thrive. Some of us don't get to have these things until we're adults and we find ourselves in professional settings where, for instance, I'm a registered nurse. And one of the things before you do a procedure is that you need to, let's say it's a trolley procedure. You first of all get your trolley ready and then you set the things you need before you take it to the patient's bedside. That is planning. It wasn't easy for me. I mean, it wasn't something I practiced every day until I got to School of Nursing. But that was not necessary. I could have learned it while I was still in the home and while I was still very young. Because sometimes you see adults who are confused. They don't know what to do with their life. They are still looking for what do you call it, clarity sessions with people, with coaches and all of that. I'm not saying it is wrong. It is okay if you are in that place. It simply means some things were not put in place. And that's why as parents today, we need to do a lot of work to really give our children the advantages we didn't have with our own parents. Should we blame our parents? No, they did what they know. They did the best they know to. So their best shouldn't be our best today. Okay? So involve your children in the things you're doing. It could be you, it could be their dad. Like if my husband is around and he's doing something I know my son can participate in, I send him off. But men, let the men do their thing. I send my son off. Especially if it's something that is core male thing. For instance, my husband is fixing a socket that was stuck on the stabilizer. My son would want to be around. In fact, one happened recently. My husband wanted him to leave so he can continue. My son was like insisting, I want to watch you do it. I want to watch you do it. Do you get? Allow the young man stay there and watch. One day he will not be around and he will be the one to do it. Or one day he will be the father and the husband in a house and he will have to do something like that. So, involve your children in the things you do. Involve your children no matter their age. There is something they can do. Even if your child is a toddler, even if your child is between 6 months and less than a year and 6 months, the child can be in the kitchen with you. Okay, you can keep the child in a chair that is safe where the child cannot fall from. There are these chairs with straps. Let the child be there and watch you. When you pass, wave at the child or say something, let the child smile. They are looking at you. They are perceiving different aroma. They are checking, this one smells like this. They may not say it, but the senses are picking those things and it's developing something in their brain. All right? So, involve your children is number one. What is that they want to be busy? Part of your operation structure in the home, realize that your children want to be busy. So, don't just get them busy. Get them engaged. When you get them busy, they are just doing things. So even if you don't give them any structure, they are always on the move. If everything looks stagnant, they will start pinching each other so that there will be noise, there will be movement. Somebody will say, stand up from there, go, stuff like that. So you want to put in things that will get them engaged. Give them drawing books, give them crayons, give them plain paper with pencil. Allow them to paint, allow them to scribble, allow them to tear the ones that can be torn. If you come to my house now and see all the books that are torn. In fact, when I did my project defense, I intentionally packaged all the corrected work home. Why? Because I know that I have a son who is learning to write. So he will see me writing. The next thing is, Mommy, I want to write. I will go and get those corrected project work, give him, he will turn the back. You will write. So make those make those provisions. Some of them don't cost much. If I could be, there could be books packed, printed book papers packed in your house that you're not using anymore. If the bags are free, give them to your child. Let the child practice. Then you can also progress to buying drawing books or storybooks. But whatever thing you're buying, storybooks, drawing books, please look at it before you pay and leave the shop. There was one I wanted to buy one time. It was like animes, and it was a drawing of a young girl with the breast exposed, with the belly exposed, and I'm like, I'm going to give my son this, my son that I know. So I dropped it. Some of the book packs I wanted to buy, they are a dozen. They come in a pack. I wanted to buy the entire pack of dozen, but I needed to read through every one of them in that shop. Like, I wasn't doing, am I blocking you? It's my money and it's my children. I mean, I don't joke with it. So if I'm taking something from you, I need to be sure that it's going to be useful to them. I have no apologies. Sorry about that. I stood there. I told the guy I wanted to read through, the seller I wanted to read through was there. So he said, okay, be reading. Let me be reading this one. So the one, I read one, I didn't like it, I dropped. I read one, I read the next one, I didn't like it, I dropped. So he was saying he's almost done with this one, with the one he's reading, and he's not seeing anything that is not cool for my child's age. I said, okay, let me have it. He gave it to me. Close to the end, I was seeing some write-ups that I wasn't comfortable with. I told him, you know what, don't worry about the books. Give me toys. I went for puzzles. We already have puzzles in my house, but I went for a different kind of puzzle design and all of that. And that was what I eventually went on with. So if you're buying books or drawing books, please look through it and be sure. Not everybody out there is sane. Yeah. And if you have a value system and you want your children who are sexually preserved from all the predators roaming around, then you need to be careful the things you present to them. All right? Okay, so another thing is, I've mentioned this before, another structure is they want to be involved in what you're doing. They want to do something. Can you stop telling them to go and watch film while you're cooking? Hello? When in 20 years' time, when they leave your house and be in high institutions or wherever are you still the one that is going to cook for them? No. And then by that time, you're putting pressures on them. Your mates are cooking. Your mates are doing that. I mean, come on. You can start now. A few days ago, we fried egg. They broke the eggs themselves. Of course, I was holding it because it was their first time. I was holding their hand and, helping them hold the egg and all. But at least I allowed my son flip the egg in the frying pan. I allowed him to bring it out and put it inside the plate. And they were really excited to have fried their eggs. So there is something they can do per time. Allow them do that. And while you're at it, please calm down. There are going to be accidents. There are going to be spills. There are going to be whatever. In fact, when my son was putting the second egg in the plate, it fell off the frying spoon and fell on top of the gas. So picked it up and we continued eating. Everybody's happy. Nobody died. So, allow them do what they can do per time. And while they're at it, please be patient and don't become irritable. If you allow them do it today and you allow them do it consistently, in a month or 2 months' time, you'll be surprised at the results you have. Okay? Then, engage them at the level that they are capable of. I've mentioned this earlier. Don't expect them to do what someone else you've seen is doing, because you don't know when that someone else was started gaining the exposure to that particular thing. Chronological age and chronological age may be the same for everyone, but what each person can do per his or her age is different, because we're always different. Let's bear that in mind. So that's what I want to talk about today in the operation structure, or how things should be done in your home. I hope you'll be able to learn something. The video is already heading to 20 minutes. I wanted it to be 10 minutes. Okay, so this is where we end it for today. So we're gonna have day 9 tomorrow. I hope you get to listen in and make the most out of it. If you're yet to subscribe to the channel, please kindly do hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell. This will keep encouraging me to do free videos, and then we'll keep learning together. Thank you.